Both should be going now. We'll see what happens. And we have some of these to work on. Oh yeah, I've got these to show as well. So if you want to let me know if and when is it good on YouTube? Good on oh cool. Okay. It's all working. Everything's turning. Sounds good. Bye. Okay. Well, hello everybody. Let us sketch some really fun stuff today. If I can just figure out what's happening. Oh, this is from yesterday. We're doing a little bit warmer things than yesterday. I've broken stuff up into there's like warm streaming days and cold streaming days, and this is a warm streaming day. So I'm just gonna quickly check and see if I can find the comments. Nope, not there. Nope. Where am I going here? I need to go to this one right there. Also, hello everybody, if anybody's there. I'm just looking for this. Why won't it let me do that? I just don't know what's going on most of the time. I should just kind of embrace it. I'll try one more thing and then we'll get into painting here. So I think if I go right here and I go to YouTube, I'm just quickly trying to see if I can figure out comments in both. Okay. And I'm going to, I suppose I could just do this. Couldn't I? All right. Oh, nope. Okay. And I just want the comments. Nope. All right. I'll figure that one out in a second. Okay. We have some painting to do. Oh, wait. No, I do need to figure this out. Welcome to your standard morning Max Figures Out Technology hour. That's how everything starts. The funny thing is like that I have an easier time sorting out like how to film in the cold than like how to do two things at once. Good morning from Juneau. Hello, hello. We're not painting Juneau today, although this looks pretty Juneau-y right there. I'm just quickly trying to figure out some technology, which is kind of the bane of my existence. But then I've got some really fun sketches and actually I've got an interesting Alaska scenario that I need to run by everybody, which is, well, I'll explain more in just 1 second. Okay, let's see. I am looking for. I'm trying to figure out how to do comments on two things, and I'm just not good at it. Okay, that's there. What's Juneau like right now? I assume you have tons of snow. Like we're just getting absolutely slammed here in Anchorage, but I hope Juneau's doing well with that. Okay, there we go. That's what I'm looking for. Aha! Okay, I figured it out. Good news. So I just need this, and now I need the chat. There we go. That is what I'm looking for. I have the chat. Great. Live chat. Okay. Hello, everybody. So today I am going to be sketching a few of these, but I have an interesting kind of dilemma that I'm in. But first, I'm going to get a couple of these going. These are the United Sketches that I'm working on, which is a bunch of different landscapes, all landscapes, but each from a different state. So 55 in total, and then together they're all going to make one giant deck of cards. But then they each make a picture. Oh, hold on, the Juneau weather report. Really wet right now, so snow turned into rain. There's still plenty of snow on the ground, though. Yeah. Oh my gosh, Juneau. The coldness you experience in Juneau is so intense because it's like you're cold, but then also everything is wet, so it's like actual cold. I feel like everybody always gives Anchorage and Fairbanks like, oh, it must be really cold in Alaska. And it's like, yeah, but we can wear jackets and we're fine. But like, the people who actually deal with cold, Juneau. Or just South Central in general, or Southeast. All right, so I am just gonna add a little bit here. We're just filling in these, but basically if you squint your eyes, and maybe if I make this a little bit less bright, let me see if I can do that. There we go. Now you can actually kind of see. But if you squint your eyes a little bit, you should be able to see these kind of like distinct stripes, and that's because it's technically all stripes of an American flag. Good morning from Maine. Oh my gosh, we got a little bit of, mostly it sounds like some Nordic spots. Between Maine and Juneau, the coldest of places. But yes, basically like all of this, if you squint your eyes, you'll see there's like these bands of sort of dark versus light, and that is because when all of these states get added together as a deck of cards, they'll make a giant picture of the United States. No, sorry, of the American flag, because I kind of want to be able to show the American flag in like a conservation mindset instead of, I feel like it's always been used on the back of pickup trucks or people saying patriotic stuff that's not actually that patriotic. So I don't know. I feel like the most patriotic thing about this country are these places. So that's what I'm doing right now. Hello from Milwaukee, Wisconsin. We won't be using Kicksled today. No, today is a warm stream day. There's warm stream days and there's cold stream days, and today is a warm stream day. But yesterday was super fun, and actually this is, if anybody missed it, this is the stream from yesterday. So this is painted in some very cold conditions, although they weren't that cold as I was told. Oh, we have the wrong title. Oh my gosh, how do I fix that? Jen, if you're on, would you mind fixing? Maybe I can do it here. Here, let me see if I can fix that. You're so right. Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. I catfished you all. What do I say? Studio sketching or something like that. Oh my gosh, yeah, look at that. Oh no, I lied to you all. This is a major breach of trust. I'm gonna make it up to you with an exciting announcement. Studio sketching. Oh, gotta spell it right. Or not, actually, that's how you know it's me. Okay, Jen says she's on it. Oh, sorry, I also did it. Yep, wow, okay. Sorry, everybody. My name is Max Romey, and I'm a liar. Do some penance here. Yesterday, we kicksledded, and it was really fun, and so this is kind of the trail. As you can see, here's a little person who was dry, I thought, and then I ruined it by just sort of wiping through. This camera makes everything look so much more dull than it actually is. But then it's got some fun little trees, and then some little footprints, and it's kind of funny, but like when I make the sketches, I kind of pegged these down as like, they're a medium good, I suppose. But now that I'm actually seeing them after the fact, it's like lasagna the second day, right? You make it, you cook it, you eat it, it's good. You put it in the fridge and you leave it for a day, and then you have leftovers, and all of a sudden all the flavors have like mixed, and it's just like a whole different thing, and it's so much better. That's sketches in a nutshell. They're good when you make them, they can be, or they can be bad, but then you let them sit a day and they become amazing or great. So I'm actually really very happy with how these turned out. I want to do some more of that. But today we got a little bit of this, and somebody actually found the sketch yesterday, which is pretty crazy. Okay, let's see. We've got some other folks from, looks like northern Minnesota. Exciting to see. Okay, is anybody here from a non-cold place? This is amazing. We got Maine, Juneau, Minnesota, Wisconsin. It's just like a cold weather stream. But I did promise some kicksledding, so maybe that's why. Let's go sketch a couple warm places then really quick. So I'm going to finish these up, and then I've got an interesting update potentially. Just going to add a little bit here. This one is Georgia. So we're just doing this kind of bend. I need to add something that's kind of dark color, but not too dark. Montreal. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is, wow. The cold weather people. I feel like we should be talking about stuff that you can only really talk about and or complain about with other people who live in cold climates. Like, it sounds like nobody from Florida is here, so maybe we should it's like a support group for cold weather places. We can talk about how it's like actually really cold, and we don't have to pretend. We don't have to pretend to be like strong and weather resistant like you have to whenever anybody is from Florida and they have their massive jacket on. You've got to put on a t-shirt and pretend like it's pretend like it's no big deal. No coldness here. No. Oh yeah, I bet. I bet. We, the indivisible lakes, thinking about in Minnesota. Yeah. Oh no, it's true. It's true. Um. Okay. Oregon. Oh my gosh, warm this time of year. Yeah. No, it is. Oh, and from Alabama. Okay. Actually, no. Sorry. There's some warm other people. Quick, cold other people. Pretend like it's like we always do well in these conditions. But here are a few of these states. I'm sketching out this little spot right here. We have, I believe it's Georgia. I did so much research on all these states and then immediately forgot all of it because I'm going to blame children. But this is kind of a byway. This might be Missouri actually. And this one is Florida. I can't remember this one. This one's New Mexico, which is these like the white sand dunes, which is a really cool spot. And you kind of got the person walking through it, but you can kind of see that like very distinct stripe. So it's this weird mix where I'm trying to paint something that looks like an actual painting, but then mostly it's the contrast that I'm trying to get to. And let's see, we're just gonna kind of bounce through a bunch of these because I have a question for you afterwards. Let's see, we're just going to add a little bit of some nice dark lines. I can kind of zoom in a bit if you want to see. There we go. So we've got our little alligator right here, which I've learned. So there's the American alligator, and then there's crocodiles. And I think we only have American... No, do we have crocodiles here or not? I'm trying to remember. I think we might have crocodiles somewhere, but I think mostly we have alligators. I know the difference between their snouts, but... I also don't know if that'll help me at all when it comes to, being eaten by something that I thought was a log. Be like, oh, well, at least this is an alligator and not a crocodile. There we go. And then we'll give this a tiny little bit. This one kind of looks like a stripe, sort of. Probably not my best. I might have to end up redoing that. But this Georgia one, I think, is turning Georgia. I think Georgia or Missouri, perhaps. Okay. But yesterday was a riot. Somebody actually found me and got to go home with the sketch, which is exciting. And we're trying to figure out this way to be able to do more of the live streams too. So if you are in a live stream, what we're doing now is you can win something. So we've tried to figure out a secure way where you can sign up and then somebody on the live stream goes home with something. So if it's a painting that doesn't get found, we send that. So if nobody shows up, then you go home with the original, or we'll ship it to you. And if they don't show up, then we send you a print, or at least a coupon code for any print that you want. So that's the plan on the Wednesday kind of adventure-y ones, because life is better when there's a chance of winning something small and little. There we go. Okay, so this is just kind of adding these shadows. I honestly thought I was about to put purple right there. It's not. That's straight up indigo, but it actually is working great. It kind of looks like one of those nice sort of shadowy days, where it goes around. And yes, we do ship around the world. If, say, you are in the Netherlands and you win, we might not be able to ship the frame without going bankrupt, but I will at least ship you the original. So if that's kind of what we're realizing is we make very small artwork that is more or less the size of a letter, so we can kind of get around a lot of the big issues, but the frames, we'll find out. The frames might just cost a ton to send a frame, but regardless, if you win something, we will ship it around the world at some point. Jen, producer Jen will better explain the live stream raffles. Yeah, so next studio email, we'll explain all. Producer Jane. I gotta work on my reading. Okay, there we go. So when you squint your eyes, this one kind of works. These probably a little bit too dark, but that one should do. I think that should work. Okay, and now we just got this one to finish up, and then we are through with these and on something a little bit more exciting as well. What state is in the upper left? Upper left. I believe it's Missouri. And yeah, well, let me see here. Does it say? Oh my gosh, I should know. Let me go check and see if I can figure it out. I believe it's Missouri. It is. Let's see. I have this huge list, and I did all this cool research in all these places, and then did so many sketches that my brain turned into a liquid, and I forgot more or less everything. Okay, where am I looking? I'm looking at this one right here. Okay, so it's middle low, which is gonna be the Great Falls Overlook on Maryland? No, that can't be it. Great River Road in Mississippi? Let's do a little check. Yes, Charlemagne. Sorry, the cat has a lot to say. Do you have a lot to say to them, or do you just want to go outside and look for birds? Mm-hmm. It's been pretty warm out. Normally, he just stays by the heater and just roasts himself, but it's been so warm out that that hasn't been an issue lately. So he is on the conquest to go be an outdoor cat. There's still a lot of snow, and it takes about like 2 or 3 minutes for him to realize he's in fact not a Siberian tiger. But it's fun to cosplay when you are wearing a fur coat. Okay, yeah, I believe that is actually Mississippi. I think that's what we're doing here. The bottom right, yeah, this one's a really cool spot. I don't know how to fix my camera to make it look a bit more like it's actually much more vibrant than what you're seeing here. But yeah, it is lovely to see all these kind of come to life. And then the nerve-wracking part is will they all come together in the same, like when I add them all together, will you actually be able to see anything? We'll find out. Okay, let's do one of these really quick, and then sorry, I'm burying the lead here. I have something interesting to potentially share here. Did anybody catch yesterday's live? I feel like that was a fun way to spend an afternoon, especially because it was so much warmer than the day before, or the live before. A little bit of this. There's some pretty serious winter weather out there. Yeah, a foot in Toronto. Oh my gosh. It makes me appreciate having a small house and a small driveway. The fact that we don't have too much in the way of of things that we have to shovel. But 2 years ago, we had this crazy snow year, and it just kept on going and going and going. And there's like real actual concern that we would have to, everybody would have to shovel, everyone would have to shovel their roofs, otherwise it would you would potentially have like collapsing roofs, and some warehouses had a collapsing roof, and then the winter afterwards you just had no snow. So I feel like Alaska, we still have winter, but it's this weird mix where a lot of times you're just not, you don't know if you're gonna get nothing or everything. Live yesterday was nice to watch. Like the paintings. Oh, I'm glad today is the first live. Whoa, welcome. And let's see, are you planning to paint more wildlife soon? I love the landscapes too, but the wildlife even more. Yes, I definitely plan to paint more wildlife. So right now, let's see where I'm at here. I'm doing well. Actually, a lot of these are done too. Like technically, these two are not done, but I'm doing well. A lot of these are done. I just need to quickly kind of get these done by next week. So sort of on the rush right now to get a lot of these done. And then once these are done, my plan is to move much more back towards kind of wildlife. And I think it'd be kind of fun to potentially paint in the entire Backyard Animals series. So here's like all of these. We did like a fun coloring book where I sketched out all of these, and I feel like it'd be really fun to paint through all of those and more or less create a tutorial for each of them if anybody else wants to paint along. But then I was talking with Connor the other day about potentially doing like some some live camera paintings as well. So like doing that, figuring out the technology so I can do a stream and paint what's going on at Alveus or kind of one of the bird sanctuaries and do like do a live painting from life. So I was thinking that would be really, oh yes, not everybody knows who Connor is. Connor is somebody I met at the, oh gosh, what was it called? I think a lot of people know who Connor is actually. Connor's one of the big brains behind Alveus. He's like a big part of the reason everything works from what I understand. And he is just one of those lovely humans who is really generous with his time and has been helping us kind of figure out how to live stream and things. And so the loose plan is once these are done, definitely a lot more animals, a lot more wildlife, and especially once it gets a bit warmer. I learned just recently that I can take, this is very exciting. Let me just lose everything first. Where'd it go? I just had these here. Okay, oh yes, here it is. Okay, so this. So once it gets warmer, right now I'm filming with a GoPro. Well, not right now, this is a camera. But when I go outside, I have to film with the GoPro because it is so cold that otherwise it would just freeze instantly. Like my camera on my phone is great, but it'd freeze instantly. This right here, ta-da, is not for, like cutting the tips off cigars or something. This is a little attachment, so I can put this right here. This is a little tiny spotting scope from Knox. I can do, the camera can connect to here. Whoops. The camera can connect to here, and then this actually looks really good. It kind of like feels very periscopy, but then I can connect this to a tripod, which means that we could go outside and we could kind of do some like bird spotting, or there's lots and lots of wildlife here in Alaska, and this would allow me to keep a little bit of distance but still be really close to like a moose, but then be able to flip between the two. So the plan is once it gets a little warmer, or I go somewhere warmer, to be able to use the phone and live stream, and then that way we can literally go like sketch animals in the wild. You can actually see them and you can sketch along with me and do all kinds of really fun stuff, and then that's like the dream. So we'll see how it all handles, and for right now it's working pretty well, but the GoPro is great. It's just such a wide angle, it's kind of hard to see anything. We could practice though. The Alaska Zoo does some great work. They rescue a huge amount of animals, but also they have very close-up wildlife. So perhaps one of these days we go to the zoo here in Alaska and we could capture some sort of live sketching. Like their yaks are very sweet and they've got a bunch of llamas, but that could be a really fun way to kind of test some of that out. Anyway, the birds too in the spring, where's the map? I need a globe. In the spring, I do have a map here somewhere. Let me see if I can find it. In the spring, nope. Would you believe I've done a lot of paintings? And I don't know where they are. Okay, anyway, in the spring, a lot of the birds fly over Alaska. So I don't know if this is the top of the world. This is the top of the world, this is the bottom of the world. Like the terns fly from one pole to the other. The sandhill cranes come through. We've got swans. Like a lot of these animals that are just hanging out in, ponds in Kentucky, summer in the wildest places in Alaska, and they all kind of pass over Anchorage. So the plan is in the spring to do potentially a lot of wildlife bird spotting and sketching and having a really fun time with that. So that's the loose plan, and we'll see how it all shakes out. But let's finish this one up, and then I have a thought idea of oh shoot, probably should have been a little faster on this one. I had an idea I wanted to run by everybody. Okay, let's see, we got a little bit of this in here. This is supposed to be the light section, so I kind of need to make it relatively light, but also I feel like I overwork everything, so maybe I should just honestly leave it right there. Call it good. There we go. We'll give a touch of this and maybe a touch of orange. Just pretend like it's fall. There we go. Ta-da! The problem though is this is the dark section, so I need like some real dark storm clouds or something like that, just sort of rolling over. And then this right here is the other dark section. It's a funny thing. It's like I'm just trying to get it all to work through. Let's see. Checking the chat. Also, sorry for the delay here. My brain is so scattered. Oh, sorry for the sorry for the late notifications. If you will see, there's a loose schedule. At least that was the plan. But we're trying to get to the point where there's like an actual loose schedule of like, you know, going live every single day at 9 or something like that. So the plan is to like have a loose schedule. I haven't quite figured out how to do it yet, but that is what I'm trying to move towards, and hopefully I can do some of that soon. Okay, we're gonna do some scary sky stuff. Are you ready to do some scary sky stuff? I think I'm just gonna freehand like a bunch of really dark clouds, which is fun, but if it goes wrong, it goes really, really, really wrong. So I think what I'm going to do is start with a little bit of like a strip of blue, because even when you're super high up, there are technically you are like the cloud, even the clouds have a vanishing point. They always do. There we go. Big strip of blue. Then we're going to go right into the indigo. And we're just going to kind of try something like this. Just going to see what happens. There's a little person, scoot around. Because I need these to be dark for the illusion to work out, you know? And then I think if I did my job, kind of do something like this. You know what? We're just going to go all the way down. All right. So if I do something like this, and then I can come in with some water. Yeah. If you feel like you overwork everything, I feel like I either overwork or underwork. I have no ability to get into the middle, which is kind of the sweet spot. But at least with overworking, you're still working, right? Like that is at some level what counts. Is you might be overworking it, but at least you're working. The worst possible scenario is just not doing art, which is the scenario I fall into a lot. There's no shame in it. It's so easy to kind of shame yourself into not doing anything, which is a shame, because making art can be so fun, but I think the reason that a lot of us don't do it is because we hold it in such high esteem that unless we're like really doing it or feel like we're at this level where we should be doing it fancier, we don't do it at all. And it's like loving something to death, you know? You love art so much that if you're playing guitar and you can't play it like the actual musician who has been doing it since they were 2, it feels like, why bother? But also the beauty of art is that, you know, even if you are terrible, it's still really fun. It can still be really fun. In fact, the worse you are, I'd say the more fun it is, because you then at that point you're definitely doing it strictly because it is fun, you know? Okay, got some nice dark clouds. We're adding another layer here, so kind of going to like right where it stops, really right where that water kind of line is, and adding a little bit up here. And what this does is it will kind of help us break up that layer, especially if you kind of introduce some water to a few pieces of it. So you never want it to be like a fully, that's what I find with clouds, is you kind of want to break a line somewhere. Maybe you already talked about it, but did you end up working on yesterday's sketch or change the smudge lady or just leave it? Right now it is just left. I'm tempted to turn it into a moose. Should we try it? I almost feel like I should scan it first in case I really mess it up. But I'd be absolutely game, because I do feel like the rest of the painting turned out great. So to ruin it is sort of like, oh shoot. Um, so I'd be all about giving it a go. If you want, we can see what happens there. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of moving this up like there. Here we go, some nice dark storm clouds. And then technically this right here is the bright line right there. So I'm gonna kind of move them just a bit up here and then kind of let it stop. There we go. I do need to kind of add like a little bit over this line, but I'm gonna make this mostly white, kind of. It's a storm cloud, but it's brighter, so something like that. We'll see. There's 50 of these, and some of them are going to be rock stars, and some of them are not, and that's okay. Yeah, that's all right. It'll do. It'll do. Okay. So this is, yeah, so if you didn't catch yesterday, so here is the painting, which turned out great, and then I well, not stupidly, I know what I was just seeing. It's like, is this dry? But I think I wasn't even like, I was feeling it with mittens. So I don't know what I was doing, but often I'll feel as a painting dry, right? This is in fact dry, and I can tell because I have fingers. But like, I like did this, and this was very much not dry, and I had a perfect little person, and I just smudged him right up. So yeah, there's some talk of like, should I make him a moose or something? Perspective-wise, I accidentally made them too big anyway, so like that is like a lamp post size thing. So already the person was about the size of a Yeti. So we're gonna have to see if that was worth shifting up or leaving. Sometimes it's fun to leave the mistakes too. Okay, let's see. I'd like to see you moose it up. It's really what you imagine the finished product to be. Add some spookiness now. It kind of does, doesn't it? Okay, so we've got this, and then I need to add a couple more trees down here. So we're going to add just a couple of those, and they're darker. So we're going to be adding, I think, a bit of green, and I like that indigo with the green. But let's get this piece of the, let's put a bit of shadow down here, because I do need this to also be darker. So we're just going to get a bit of shadow. The hard part is just trying to make it look natural. Nope, that's blue. I thought that was indigo. The hard part is just trying to make it look natural. There we go. And that feels a little forced. Because you can make the contrast happen, but like to make it look like it was just on purpose is what I'm kind of falling apart with. Okay, so we got this. Let's add just a little bit up here while we're at it. Just a touch right there. Because I kind of want, there's obviously going to be shadow down here, but I want it to be kind of brighter and white if I can. So a little bit in the middle shouldn't hurt me, or at least hurt the illusion. But I want just enough where that's like, that's it, you know? There we go. Okay, and we'll just leave that all kind of right there. Maybe a couple little streaks of some color for this outlook. There we, kind of painting with my eyes squinted a lot lately too. Just be like, does that work? Yeah, it does. It'll be fine. Got this little person here too. I'm gonna give them a bit of a shadow. There we go. That'll just kind of anchor them right there on the peak. And we'll just add a couple more of those. There we go. Okay, so that's seeming just fine. Let's add maybe a touch of purple down here, just to give it something to shift into, and then maybe a bit more of that indigo. Kind of working these to the edge. They don't need to touch. I'm just saving paper because I don't want to add like more little strips of paper and use more paint. There we go. So we got a nice storm cloud going right there. We have our little person, and then this is the dark line. This is kind of where it starts. And so I'm going to start on probably this edge. And let's add some browns. Something like this. Obviously some green. There's dark green too. Really thick kind of green. And green and indigo have this like weird pact where they can work amazingly together. Sometimes. You have like a little bit like here, right on the edges. Indigo and brown, okay, but green and indigo, for some reason, it's just like, it's like they used to be teammates or something. They like it. A little bit of blue. I'm just kind of trying to toss a bunch of value down here because I need it to be dark. There we go. So something like that. Technically trees, but dark trees. The color theory, yeah, not sure if I'd be a very good color theorist, but we'll do what we can. Oh, hello, Casey. Welcome. I'm just trying to work my way through these. I'm trying to make a giant deck of cards that ultimately becomes a big American flag. So each of the value pieces all adds up 55 landscapes technically, to rectangles, But then all of these together will make one giant painting that is a deck of cards that can all be put together, and kind of try to show America through a conservation angle and sort of retake that flag back a little bit is the plan. But it turns out that's like a lot of landscapes. So that's been a lot. But it's going to work. It's all going to work out, probably. Or it won't, and I'll still have a good time. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm going to let this dry. But I have an interesting dilemma that I'm in. Oh, wait, first. Many comments here. What is this? As I recall, on Thursday, I started using a new to you paper, the Fluid 100. It looks like the F block. Oh, you're asking real questions here. It looks like I looked up your F block and it's hot press, or ordinarily we can cold press. Yes. Okay, let's talk hot press versus cold press. Prepare yourself. I was looking yesterday and saw you were streaming outside. Look cold. Yes, that was okay. So this is the result of painting with gin, which actually I will say, okay, there we go. It worked pretty well. This is my own fault. I thought it was gonna turn out much more like the last time I painted in the cold, which was this. I just couldn't get any stuff off the paper, and I actually like how it looks, but this was like -13, and this was painting in 20. Oh boy, I skipped a bunch of pages here. There we go. And this is painting in 23-degree weather. So it's been nice. But yeah, so hot press versus cold press. So this right here is cold press. Other things that involve cold press are like, is this cold press? Yeah, this is cold press. So it's got that nice fine grain, and it's, the way it's made is literally with a piece of felt. So how the factories are really cool. Basically, like the old school type, and that's how they use it a lot now, is this giant roller, and it just rolls these huge sheets of paper, which are just mashed up cotton and stuff like that, and they basically put this slurry, and they kind of just roll it into this felt, and then that's what gives you that nice texture. So the reason that this is that texture is because there's this nice little bit of felt that is on it, and then as it dries, that has a texture. So that's how you get cold press, which is sort of like a medium texture. Rough is like a real extreme texture, and then hot press, which is like this. There's still texture, but barely. Like maybe well, yeah, here, let me show you a bright white screen. There's barely texture. And so the way that is because they are literally heating this up. They kind of steam it, and it's sort of, I think the felt is a little different, but it's also, it is a hot, quite literally it is a hot press. They are pressing hot stuff, and so you get this much smoother texture. It's much less porous, and it doesn't have these little wells. So you could almost, it probably does loosen up the fibers too. So you can almost, it's more like computer paper texture than it is like watercolor paper texture. And the reason watercolor paper is so effective, like here's something really grainy here you can see. So like the reason watercolor paper is so effective is because these little tiny wells, sort of, like imagine 1,000 tiny little tide pools or something like that. They hold water. So if you put a big wash of brown right here, it doesn't just immediately flow all the way down. Capillary action will make it do a little bit, but it doesn't just flow all the way down. It kind of stays. Also, watercolor paper is way, way, way thick, and so it can just handle a lot of water, which is good for many reasons. But it kind of, cold press is made to kind of control the watercolor, I find. Hot press is when you like the chaos and you kind of want that to happen. So hot press, you're gonna get a lot of stuff like, let me see, where are these? You're getting a lot more of those blooms. Do I have actually good examples? These are not all very good examples. You get a lot more interesting texture sometimes. So that texture is a result of hot press. I find what's really interesting with hot press is you normally get a lot more blooms, although I'm kind of being a bit more controlled here. And that might just be the nature of this paper in particular. But a lot of times with hot press, you get a lot more of these, like, stuff goes crazy and it just flows and moves and does this stuff. It's also way better for scanning. So if you're going to, say, blow something up really big or turn this into a deck of cards, and you want to kind of keep it, well, if you want to kind of keep it how it is, like that grain on that cold press, if you just keep on blowing it up, all those little wells will look crazy. And if it gets blown up huge, like it'll be like there's like these massive divots. Whereas hot press, you can kind of blow it up as big as it needs to be. Or say you're blowing it up and printing it on actual watercolor paper, you don't want those little divots. So if I basically make anything that I want to reproduce, it's on hot press. Sorry, that's probably way more info than you needed. But yeah, it spreads over the surface. It makes more of a mess, but it's so good. I love hot press paper so much. Sometimes it's also so annoying. It's like the absolute worst sometimes. So it's just kind of like the weather in Alaska. It's just kind of, hot press gives you some extremes. It sits on the paper more, it flows. But you can also use just like absolutely normal paper too. Like this right here is this is just paper as well. And say you're like, just like notes. If you are, say, mixing, I don't know, some indigo with nothing. There we go. I'll put some of that here. This is just computer paper. But like, basically. But like this. Nope. Sorry, bad example. Let me. You asked a question. You're like the student who knows that they can derail the substitute teacher because they don't want to do the work. Okay, so here we go. This is like real texture. This is a trail tile. This is cold press-esque. It's kind of a little bit of both. So here's an example. We can put a bunch of water here, and then we'll put watercolor on one edge. That is true. Yeah, regular water. Let's see. Very interesting. Scanning concern. Gonna try hot press. Sounds like great fun. It is a lot of fun, and you should try different weights too. So like this right here is like 120 grams or something like that. They've all got different weights and things like that. But then the really thick stuff, like the arches, is so thick it like soaks up everything and it won't warp. You know, so just tape stuff down. I should do like a watercolor basic class at some point. Not that there's anything basic about any of this stuff. Watercolor is like the least basic of anything. It is so confusing. Okay, so here we go. So there we go. So this is a little bit of water, kind of move forward. Where's my focal point? Is that it? Oh yeah. So there's a little bit of water, kind of move forward, and then what I'll do here is I'm going to add a little bit of water to the edge. There we go. And we're just going to leave that right there, see what happens. And let me go find some hot press paper. Hot press. We got some somewhere. I could always use some of this. This is here. You want to see something really special? The nice thing about nice paper too is like it stays forever. So this is actually some paper from my grandmother's studio. So this is some of her paper. And she's been gone for 10 years now, but like this will be totally usable for another decade or 3. And so I haven't, like, you can even see it's been sun damaged because it was just, like out in, probably just exposed. But oh yeah, these were some. This was me, not her. But you can see here's some of the blooms. This is for a pair of shoes we actually made. And I turn these into brushes, but you can see just how like how kind of much movement and blooms that there are. But yeah, there's a bunch of sheets of paper on this block. I just haven't found anything special enough that it's like, oh yeah, I want to use her fancy paper for. And then there's also stuff like bamboo. This right here is bamboo paper, which is really fascinating. Let me just tear a sheet of this off. This is Hahnemühle, which is they're a German company, but they're super sustainable. They're great. And so like bamboo paper is kind of like hot press and cold press combined. So that's some really interesting stuff. But so here's an example. So we'll just add a little bit of this and some of that indigo right here. But you can see just how much it's kind of moving forward and through. I know a lot of paper companies are looking into doing like bamboo and sugarcane and stuff like that because, you know, trees are trees. They take a while to grow and you don't always want to cut them down. But you can kind of see the way it absorbs color and paper, but then the way it blooms as well. So this is going to be an interesting bloom, but you can see the rest of it is still pretty uniform. Anyway, it's fun stuff. It's all fun, and the only way you learn it is just by making huge amounts of mistakes. Like that's really what it takes. It requires being willing to just have fun, and you only learn this stuff by making a mistake. Like you only learn that you can just scrape a person up by by like making the mistake and then seeing, oh yeah, okay, turns out when it's not quite dry, but then that might be an effect you love. And you were like, cool, let something half dry and then scrape it up, or it blooms, or any of these things. If I make a pretty looking sky like this, it's because I tried to do something that wasn't this. And then it made something that looked like a pretty looking sky, but like it was in the middle of like a, you know, moose's forehead, or like it was supposed to be a sunny day. And then all of a sudden I was like, oh shoot, this looks like a pretty looking stormy sky. The painting might get thrown away, but like the idea sticks. And that's why, yeah, I feel like it's the same in life too, but those experiences are so valuable. But they're hard to do because they're kind of scary. Making mistakes is not something we're like encouraged to do very much anymore. Okay, sorry. Let's see. And then it's on YouTube. Hey Tina, I've heard the sizing on watercolor paper can go bad, but I haven't experienced that depending on the type of paper. That's true. Yeah. So it kind of depends on the paper too. Like a lot, like arches, you know, Hahnemühle, it's meant to last a while. It's not gonna last as long as like an oil painting or something like that. But also, you know, who here thinks that like their painting is gonna be so good that people are gonna want to keep it for 200 years? I mean, I think everybody thinks that, but it's a little cocky. So like some of these things are like, oh, well, this watercolor paper will only be good for like 200 years or something like that. And then the oil paintings are more valuable because they're like gonna stay in pristine shape for 1,000 years. But yeah, it's like best by dates. They're very subjective. Okay, so let's see. Sorry, let me catch up on the chat here. Let's see, regular paper tends to curl up. Yeah, and it can too. You can tape it down. That's why I have these ones taped down. It's a bit thinner, but it's working. Yeah, Fabrio is lovely as well. Heard of them. It's all very expensive too. Like, watch out. Sometimes you have to mortgage your house to get some of this paper. And it's kind of worth it, but it's also like the paper that matters is the one that you're used to. That's kind of what counts. Thanks for delving into paper. No worries. It's a dangerous obsession. And then yeah, I'm doing art for me. Let's see. I'm doing art for me. It's not for it to still exist in 100 years. That's exactly it, Sophie. Yeah. It's like if you don't do it because you don't know if it'll hold up in a century, why do it? Like, honestly, I feel like pure art, you shouldn't care if you shouldn't care if it makes it past like you finishing it. You know, almost like one of those Buddha boards or something like that. Like if you truly did art for art's sake, you would be okay making a painting on something that's on a paper shredder. You know, like imagine like there's this slow paper shredder going. If you're truly doing it for the art, you'd still make sketches on that sheet of paper. Like that's what it's really about. And it's so hard to actually get there and do something with it. But it's I think that's kind of the goal. Kids do it. You know, if you told a kid like, hey, you want to make a painting on the sheet of paper? I'm going to throw it away in 1 second. They'd still do it. They'd be like, absolutely, let's go make a painting. And I think that's what counts. And eventually, hopefully, I don't know, maybe in this century or next, I'll appreciate that and see the like, yeah, it's about painting. It's not called paint. It's painting. It's a verb, you know? Okay. All right. And let's see, very nihilistic anyways, but not to start thinking about doing things for people 100 years from now. Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. All right, let's finish up these trees. Love this color combo. So I'm going to try maybe do a little bit more of that. Let's do some green over here. And maybe we'll mix it into some purple, I think. Do a little bit of that, maybe a touch of blue. But speaking of things that have been around for a very long time, I do have something to show you and a question to ask. Although the more I say that, and having not sent you the question, I feel like one of those, you know, those like shows on Discovery where they only have about like 2 minutes of interesting content, but what they do is they just keep on, you won't believe what happens next, and then like ad break, and then it turns out it's something vaguely interesting or lame. I feel like that's what it sounds like I'm doing to you all, which is not my plan. Okay, so let's see. I am just gonna try to, let's add some more darkness here. A little bit more brown, a little bit more green. I just need these trees to kind of be in shadow. A little bit in there. Let's do some purple right up on top. Nope, that's indigo. Wow, and isn't it just? Look how dark that is. Whew. Too much. Let's just see if we can scoot a little bit of that off. It'll still work, but boy, that's just a lot. Okay, a little bit down there. And yeah, that's just going to be fine. And then let's add maybe some indigo up here as well. So we can kind of work a bit over and around. And we're going to call this painting pretty quick. There we go. Okay. Yeah, green, indigo with green. It just makes such lovely shadows. And what I do love is if you're up on a mountain or something, often there are clouds and it just makes like, you know, a whole half of the forest will just be black, you know, comparatively on the contrast, just dark, 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 which I love. And it's just so hard to capture in painting because, you know, it would be the equivalent of like taking this painting and just covering half of it with more or less just lamp of black. But that's how it actually is in real life, which is just so cool. Okay, I think that is going to work. And I think I'm actually going to, speaking of which, I'm just going to add a little bit of this over here just for fun. There we go. We've got our little person right there and some cat hair. All right. Well, I think those are pretty good. There's another 4. Check those off. Actually, let's do that. This is, which 4 are these? I believe this is 29 through, yeah, that should be these 4 right here. So I'm going to go and pencil these out and do it on a book so I don't ruin anything. But here we go. Number 29, check, 30, 39, and 40. And then I think I actually finished, what was it, these 2? No, I think it was actually these 2. So we are getting there. It will happen. Probably. There's a lot of landscapes. That has been one of the fun things though, is just like seeing all these amazing places and realizing it's like there's some really cool stuff here. Okay, now I've got something to show you. So while that dries, I have been super lucky. I got an amazing opportunity to potentially do something at a really, really, really cool place. It was like $1,500 a night, kind of cool place. But I was talking to my wife, and our plan, like, I don't know if we'd be able to all go. So instead, we were like, we want to do something that we can do together. So there's an idea to do something a little bit more like, let's see, where are you here? So there's an idea to do a bit more of a road trip. And this is one of my grandma's sketchbooks. This is what I'm hoping to track down over the course of the next, century, speaking of doing art for a long time. Some like, even these, I should be able to find them. These barns might be gone, but my hope is to find literally all of these, make the same sketch in the same place. She turned this one into a quilt. But my hope is to find a lot of these. This is a trip she went up to Alaska. This is up through Jasper, which is not very much the same anymore. Oh yeah, here we go. Okay, they weren't in Jasper, yes. Bay of Lake Superior. You can kind of see her trip up. They took the train, Thunder Bay. And so I found some of these. Bear in the brush besides the tracks. I just love these little sketches so much. It's like, it's such a quick, like that would be 3 seconds, 4 seconds, but like it's there, it's like, you understand it. And this is, let's see, here is a Grange. Oh my gosh, that's beautiful. Saskatchewan. It's so cool. But there's one spot, it's Pioneer, Jasper, train number 5, British Columbia. Where are my Canadians at, by the way? I think I saw there's an Ontario here. She sketched a lot in Canada, so I need to, at some point, I'll be doing some long trips and ideally lives. Oh yeah, Seneca River. There's one spot though, Inside Passage. Where'd you go? Is this it? Gray Shadows? No, not quite. There's one spot. Yes, okay. So what we're considering right now is, would it be super cool to take a road trip and go try to find some of these places this summer? It would mean giving up things like a very, very fancy plum artist gig, being wined and dined, but instead we could kind of do a road trip and actually try to find some of these places all together, which has kind of been the dream. So like Silver City, Yukon, and this is these huge landscapes, and theoretically I should be able to find exactly where she was, because if you're 200 meters to the left, this mountain is now gonna like intersect with that tree, so I should be able to find all of these spots where she was. And if we take a trip down, oh my gosh, this would be fun to do some botanicals. But all of these spots, Icefield Ranges in the Yukon, that would be a really cool one. Blue-gray shadows. I do love this. She would often like kind of take these like little field notes, but talking about the blue-gray shadows. This should be findable. Potentially. That's a huge dredge. These are like gold dredges. So a lot of these are Nome, but I guess maybe she was on her way to the Yukon with this one. We'll have to see. But I should be able to potentially follow all of these. The Yukon River. This is the pencils. But yeah, I guess the question is, would that be an interesting adventure that you'd be curious in seeing streamed? I think it would be so cool to be able to track these down. I could probably figure out the internet side of things, but if you'd like to see kind of the behind the scenes process, potentially this July, we might take a trip and kind of go try to track down some of these and find these spots. I'm not sure if we'd be able to find the Brooks Range necessarily, but give a couple of them a shot. These are so close to home, I've often felt like I should kind of hold off and wait until, I'm a better artist or I fancier something or whatever it is, but like life is short and also, why not like have a crazy adventure road trip? And like, how can you imagine how crazy it would be to find this? Like, to be in the same spot and to see what she saw and then color it in. I don't know how the live section would fully, but like, yeah, I don't know. I think that would be so cool. And it felt really scary, but like we have already, well, yeah, let's see, hopefully they're not alive, but we already turned down like the fancy lodge. Actually, yeah, I don't know if I can like say this stuff. I guess this is how lives work. We already turned down the really fancy lodge. So we, put this here so I don't get paint on that. We, there we go. So we already turned down the fancy lodge. I actually sent Jen a message about it last night. Jen is, if you don't know Jen is on here. Hello, Jen. Jen is the producer who like makes all of this happen. But I was like kind of freaking out about it because I was just feeling super overwhelmed of like, how am I going to find time to do any of these? But also there's so much cool stuff happened. Jen says, you should probably not be talking about this publicly. Okay. Thanks for the, thank you for the text there. Jen's just like, shut up. Anyway, yes, nobody tell anybody, please. But it's like, it feels like in order to, it feels like I should wait until things are right to be able to do something like this. But also, I think yesterday and today, something like clicked, and it was like, no, like if you need to do something, you just need to do something. And there's always going to be the fancy opportunities and the cool, bright, shiny things. But sometimes you need to do something that feels super, super simple and just find the sketch, take the time, make the road trip. Like the little bear, it doesn't need to be super fancy. It just needs to be. And so I think that's kind of our plan this year a little bit. And I think the idea is, instead of like doing a big fancy film or anything like that, it's just going to be a live stream it and just show you the whole process of like, what does it take to find something like this? You know, I don't even know the ice field ranges in the Yukon. This might be like right along the side of the highway, or maybe they were going somewhere wild. But either way, finding it together could be really, really, really interesting. Maybe. Let's see. Sorry. Jen, I will stop talking about this, I swear. Everybody here is sworn to secrecy, by the way. Please don't tell, I don't know who we get in trouble with, but you're part of our group now. So this is what's going to happen. So let's see. Gorgeous sketching, the nitty-gritty details. Robert Service captured the Yukon. Oh my gosh, I love Robert Service so much. Would love to see that. Yeah, I think it's like a road, like every going out with the family. And there's so many of these sketches, to be honest, like like I don't think a big fancy video for each one is feasible because there's just so many. I think the only way to do it is just to not wait and just go and sketch it and find it and have a ton of fun. I think that's the thing that's the most important in the feasibility part. It isn't like, is this possible or can we fund it? It's like, is it fun? Because in order to do anything for any amount of time, it has to be really, really, really fun. And I think it'd be so fun to be able to track these down with the family, but also, with like art in general. Like if you're not having fun, you're not going to do it. It doesn't matter if you're good at it. You can be the best tattoo artist in the world, but if you're not having fun, yeah, you're going to stop. Or, you're best painter in the world, but like fun. You have to have fun. That's such a, I feel like that's such an important part of it, which would be interesting to see how this all works. That'd be so cool. It seems like a lot of work to stream though, and money depending on the equipment you need out there. Also, thank you for everybody agreeing to keep their lips sealed on this one. We probably shouldn't have told Jen. We should. Yeah, I'm definitely going to be in a little bit of trouble now. Yeah, I think it could definitely be some equipment. I think like from all the satellite stuff nowadays, it's compared to like what it used to cost. I think this could be done relatively reasonably. I don't know if I could like stream 24/7. I think it'd probably more like be, when we end up in an area close to this, figuring out a way to be able to stream the process. Because even once you find a spot like this, finding exactly where she was can be tough. And you can find to like the foot. Like for instance, this dredge, right? Like she would have sat somewhere and sketched this dredge. This probably hasn't moved at all, but literally if you move 10 feet to the left, like these proportions and angles change. And so that's kind of what the fun part is it'll probably be like streaming literally the trying to find, but then the fine tuning of like, right, how do you find exactly where she was, but then painting it in. Like she left the most amazing coloring book ever. But then painting it in is the hard part, which I experienced. Here's Matanuska. There's a whole film about this process of trying to find this one sketch. I can, or Jen, if you have the link, we can plop it in the chat. But yeah, finding that one thing is so difficult. Actually, can I share a video? How do I share a video? Would anybody like to see it? I could potentially just show you. This is what happens. Let's see. 3 questions, right? Or 3 generations. Yes. It'd be great to follow. Super exciting. Won't say a word. Zip, zip, zip. Thank you, everybody. Uh-oh, Eve is calling. I might really be in trouble. Hold on. Let's see. Hello, Eve. Hello. I'm streaming right now, so you're live, just so you know. Oh, sorry. Okay. No. Well, let's see. You're not on speakerphone, but the microphone's real close to the voice piece. Okay. Eve says hello, everybody. I was talking about like the dream of doing a road trip instead of fancy doodle. Hi, Kep. Instead of doing fancy doodle stuff, and then Jen mentioned that I probably shouldn't be talking about that publicly, but it's too exciting not to. You sound like you're in the car or being attacked. Oh, he is Dada. Oh, yes. No, here, that was a very good deep voice. Let me hear that again.
Here, I want to hear Dada again. Is Dada back there? Yeah. Let's hear him. Can Dada say hello? Can you say hello? No, I heard Dada in the back of the car. Is Dada still in the back of the car? Yeah. Let's hear him. I think Dada may have exited the car.
Okay, all right. That's this. I'm glad to know what I sound like, though. Great. So I sound like a screamo singer. That's good. Perfect. Going to the library. Great. Yes. Yeah, we need milk and no, we have popcorn. Yeah, I think that's it. Just milk. Milk. Okay. Well, I'm gonna zip back to this. I'm gonna wrap this up. I think I got my. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna get nasty. I think they have some freezing rain coming in. They always are a hazardous weather statement. And I feel like we've had one of those for the last 2 weeks. I think the weather system is written by somebody not living in Alaska. They're just like, oh my God, there's snow. Nobody go outside. Oh no, freezing rain. Nobody go outside. It's winter time. Nobody go outside. Yeah. Yep, that sounds good. Okay. Well, perfect. Well, I'll let you know if I think of anything for the grocery store. Otherwise, I'm gonna wrap up some streaming and then continue the painting. I'll just continue to share more state secrets. Just we'll see how far we can push Jen on the planning and concern side. You're gonna think of a secret we can share? Uh-oh. One of my dirty secrets? What is it? I don't feel like I have many dirty secrets. Oh, you can't say that stuff. Oh, that's very embarrassing. All right, I'll tell people, but I'm gonna hang up on you so you don't have anything more. Okay. Here, you're off a speakerphone, but I'm gonna hang up now. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh, she knows that. Anyway, I do love McDonald's. I hate to admit it, but like it's so predictable in such a good way. Yes, okay. Sorry about that. Yes, but like the streaming side, I think it'd be really interesting. Okay, let's see. I'm just quickly looking through a few comments, and then I think I might be able to show you this video. Let me see. You can road trip via Voyager Discovery in so many ways. Yeah, that would be kind of fun, wouldn't it? Pick whatever intrigues you. Generations being the same place decades apart. It's really, I mean, and it's just like, the thing is, a lot of these things change too. Love the sketches, been lurking your stream. Work is good. Oh, thank you. Just in the big city. I'm right here in Anchorage, Alaska, which is the big end. More than half of Alaska lives here, which is kind of crazy to think of, because it's not that big of a city compared to other places. And glad you appreciated the kid out. So theoretically, if I like, let me see. Should we go watch this film? I want to show you what it took to find this sketch so you can appreciate the scale. Browser, capture card, let's see, image. Maybe if I just jump up here and I delete all of this, and then I grab this and go YouTube. Did I mention that today is Max Learns Tech? Because that is what we're doing, and it's called Glacier Speak. Okay, so this is, no, not Glacier Peak, Glacier Speak, Glacier Speak, Speaking of glaciers. There we go, okay. So I just need to grab this, and then let's see, let me know if, okay, been to Anchorage a few times. February is a great spot. Fairbanks is intense though. Okay, how... Meeting's all done for the day? Okay, Granola, we are trying to figure out, does anybody know how to show a link? Like, I would love to show you this video of what it took to make this, and then I could even give a commentary. But if I browser, maybe that's it. We'll see. Oh, great. Okay, I can just give you a URL. Perfect. Okay, prepare yourself. I am leveling up in technology today. This is very exciting. So I think if I do this, and then maybe that will do a thing. Did it? Oh my gosh, look at this. Okay.
We've all heard of the butterfly effect. Something little that happened way in the past that led to big impacts in today's world. But for me, I can actually pinpoint the moment when I rewind all the way back to the beginning.
I don't know how to pause it or stop it, so it's just kind of happening. Can you hear it?
This is my grandmother, and this is her sketchbook. Here's the one that she was holding in the photo. Exactly 40 years ago, she made this sketch somewhere around here. A little bit north of where I live in Anchorage, Alaska. She'd make these little field sketches everywhere she went, capturing everything from penguins to wombats, and just about everything in between. I'm sure taking a photo would have been an easier way to capture the moment, but she would just wander off in search of a good rock to sit on, and would watch the world turn and sketch. And she'd come back with a single page to remember it all by. Some of my earliest memories are actually sitting by her legs as she sketched some masterpiece above me, and I was scribbling away on my little notebook below. Two very different pages, but it was like we shared the same language. And as a dyslexic kid, I loved that this was a language that I couldn't misspell. She left behind over 6,000 sketches. Sketches that captured a place so well that they'll only line up when you are exactly where she was to make it, which has turned them into some cross between a treasure map, a coloring book, and geocaching, and a little bit of bushwhacking. But it's all worth it, because if I can follow in her footsteps and find out where she was and make the same sketch of the same thing with the same materials, then for a moment, it's almost like we were painting again together. And it's one of the wildest feelings.
I don't know how to pause this, so it looks like we're watching this all the way through, but
It's basically a time machine made out of paper. But the more I see in the news about the floods and heat waves and fires and all the ways the world is changing, the more worried I am about finding these sketches. I mean, the sketches will be there, but the places she sketched might not be. So what do you do when it becomes a race against time and climate? And so that's how I ended up a few hours away from home and the kids with that sketch of Matanuska Glacier. So I could focus on getting it perfect and finding and capturing that sketch without any interruptions.
Oh, I figured out how to pause it.
Okay, sorry. Anyway, so this is called Glacier Speak. This is about trying to find this one little sketch right here, which was an absolute. I mean, I don't know if you want to watch the whole film, but like it's 16 minutes long. You should watch the whole film. Here's the link. Oh, nope, here's not the link. Let me see. Copy. Here's the link. No. Paste. It won't let me paste anything. Okay. But yeah, it's like it took so much time to try to find. Oops. It took so much time to. Sorry, you win some and you lose some with technology. It took so much time to try to find that one little sketch, but I did learn so much too, kind of like about like how important it is to actually just be in those places. And I feel like I found a couple of these now. We made a few videos, and there's actually some more coming out soon. But it was just like the scope and the scale of how important it is. Oh, thank you, Sophie. The scope and the scale of how important it was to actually find those things was just so. Yeah, it was so important. Okay, I'm gonna remove that there. I also don't know. I'm gonna figure this out in the future, and then I'm gonna put this to there, so that you don't have to listen to the volume through my microphone through the computer. Instead, we can just do it the other way around. But there's the link. If you wanna watch it, you should definitely watch it. It's really fun. But it was just, yeah, like how much this had changed, but then how important it was to sketch with Kip and everything, and it just makes me really excited for the idea of potentially finding a few more in Canada this summer. Could just be so cool. And filming them, honestly, I've been a little bit hesitant to, sort of. I mean, like making a film was very cool, but it takes you out of the process a lot. So it's uncomfortable, but it's like you get to capture. It's like taxidermy, which I haven't done, but it's like, if you want to make a bear look, like it did for a split second when it stood up, in order to do it, you have to shoot the bear and like take out all the bits and sew it back together and put your own skeleton in. That's what filming is. You kind of kill the moment in order to preserve it forever. It's a lie, but it's also as close to the truth as you can get. Whereas I feel like streaming is sort of like, yeah, it's just like, I basically like be bringing a buddy along in the car. So that's where it's like, oh yeah, maybe we could do this and actually still be in the moment and be able to find all of these, or at least some of them, and then have that to share. So that's the loose plan. Even though probably a little bit early to share all these things. Sorry. I owe Jen an apology. If anybody has any suggestions of things that I can do to make it up to a person who likes to be organized and like have things planned out as I just freewheel around here, let me know. But yeah, the dredge, let's see. It's sitting in the Chena River. Oh, so you know this. Okay, so that big dredge thing. Oh my gosh, this is so great. Well, this is perfect. So this right here is sitting in the Chena, the Goldstream dredge number 8 from Fairbanks, Alaska. That could be really interesting. We'll have to map out like a road trip. Maybe can I show, I'm kind of on a technology kick right now. Let's see if I can go find us a map. Let's see. Yes, thank you everybody for apologizing to Jen on my behalf as well. It's like a friend being like, don't get them in trouble. Okay, let's see. Yukon. Okay. Google Maps. Google Maps. Let's go look at some of this stuff. Okay, and I'm just gonna look up Yukon. Nope, there's no U. Yukon. Yukon. Copy. And let's see if we can do this. I think I understand. I mean, the little part about Glacier Speak where you stumble through the bushes is very funny. Yeah. So if you've seen Glacier Speak, it takes a few takes to kind of get a lot of this stuff, and it's just part of your mind is always thinking about the camera. And not just like the camera, but it's also like, what am I doing within it? So whereas like when you're live streaming, you're thinking about the camera, but it's more just like making sure like the camera's off if you're going pee. It's like, it's a much different form of thinking about the camera. It's much less of like, what am I to the camera and what is happening and where's the story? Like live streaming is just kind of like, right, don't do public nudity and make sure that like it's actually running. Whereas like in the other filming side of things, you know, you're in full control, but then there's the edit and you're kind of like an actor, which is not, not always it's doable. Sorry, if National Geographic is out there, it's very doable. We can definitely do more stuff like this, but it's, I don't know, the live streaming thing I think has like real potential for, actually being authentic paced. Okay, let's see if we can do this. All right, we got some of the Google Maps here, and then I think if I click interact, I should be able to jump around. Oh, there goes my face. Nope. Get back there. Let's see. You go here. You go there. Okay, so let's take a look here. So we're looking at. So here's the Yukon, and there we go. So where they went is, you can't really see anyway, they went, so I'd probably go from like Anchorage and then go right, you probably want to take here, I don't have a little pointer, so we're just going to go, this is as the plane would fly. So here is, there's Valdez, there's Whittier, here's Anchorage. So there's like, Eve actually did this. The way to do it, you probably go from Anchorage, you drive all the way down to probably Whittier, or you'd fly. You couldn't take a ferry, but you'd probably fly all the way down. There's no direct flights to Whitehorse from Anchorage, which is kind of funny. But you'd probably fly all the way down past Yakutat. You want to find somewhere called Haines. Where's Haines? That's Haines. So you fly all the way down right here to Haines. You wouldn't fly to Haines. You probably fly to Juneau, and then you take the ferry to Haines. Where's Juneau? So you probably fly all the way down to Juneau. Oh, Juneau's down here. Alaska's enormous. The Panhandle is so cool. Actually, we had somebody from Juneau on earlier. Where's Juneau? Hopefully they're not on right now because this is embarrassing how long this is taking me to find Juneau. There's Petersburg. Is Juneau like way far down? Let me just zoom out. Oh, I don't know how to zoom out. I can only zoom in. Okay, well, Juneau is... oh, no. Juneau's down here somewhere. Metlakatla. Oh, where'd you go? Yeah, Juneau's down here somewhere. Anyway, you fly to Juneau. Oh, there's Thorn Bay. I've been there. You'd fly to Juneau, and then you would take the ferry up to Haines, potentially past Wrangell. She actually sketched Wrangell, too. You can find it. Here is... Where is it? She made a sketch of Wrangell on her way up. Let's see if I can find that for us. Yeah, the Panhandle is so... Oh, yeah. So the Panhandle... So Alaska looks like this. And then people call the... Okay, here's the Aleutian... Am I doing this right? Anyway, people like these are the Aleutians. This is like Alaska. Anchorage is one of my knuckles. This is the Panhandle. Your thumb is the Panhandle because it's kind of like a giant frying pan, and that's the Panhandle. So it's kind of, we like basically stole all of Canada's coast. Russia sold it to America because Russia owed America a debt or something for the Civil War. Canada was owned by the British at the time, and Russia didn't want the British to have a coastline, so Russia sold like this piece of Alaska to America. And just basically gave America all the good little coasty bits. Canada has a few now, but it was kind of an FU move from Russia's standpoint. But if you look here, let's see, we're looking through this section. Where's Wrangell? Wrangell, Prince Rupert, Ketchikan, Wrangell. So here is Wrangell, and so she sketched Wrangell, and you can see Wrangell is right there. Wrangell's amazing. It's Yeah, I haven't been, but it's got some wild history. I think it's got like John Muir, I think was up, did some cool stuff in Wrangell. It's really, really cool stuff. Yeah, let's see if I can zoom in. Oh, I can click on it here. I'm going to go way in. Here we go. Check out this. So this is Wrangell. So somewhere in Wrangell is this little sketch right here and all these houses. And so it should be like probably from the docks or something, but I've shown this to people from Wrangell. They're like, oh yeah, I know exactly where that would have been. But I'd be curious, like how many of those houses are still there? This is 1985, so we're looking at 40 years ago. But this is Wrangell, which is just a really cool spot. Can I place us here? Oh, I can. Boom, let's do this. Okay, so this is Wrangell. Okay. Is that the place? Maybe. Interesting. Okay, it'd probably be further down here. Maybe. Let's see. These are definitely the trees. I'll just zoom over a little bit. Oh yeah. Anyway, this is like a lot of, but like when you do it in person, a lot of it is just like physically walking around. What you usually would look for is like that is a church steeple. So I don't see any churches here. But you kind of try to find like some main point, or usually you just try to find a person who can lead you there. But even once you kind of find the loose area, it's really about like whether or not you can actually find the spot. Okay, let's go back here. Oh, sorry. Interact. Okay, back here. No. Okay, well, we might be stuck in Wrangell. I need to show you. Can I do this? Can I do this? Nope, none of this is what I wanted. Okay, well, this is gonna be in Wrangell. Let's see. I think we can do this. Yes, we can do this. Okay. So, all right. So here is Wrangell. And so where we'd be going is you'd probably jump on a ferry, potentially go through Wrangell. But then, okay, you're at Hudson Bay. We're looking for a spot called Haines. Okay, so Haines, it's really, really cool. So we'd probably go to Haines. Love Haines. And then they have trail tiles. There's one art store called Ampersand. They have trail tiles. It's so cool. You take the ferry, go to Haines, and then drive up to Whitehorse, which you just like, here's how silly this is. Like Haines is in America, Whitehorse is in Canada. And it's silly that we didn't like just give the Canadians geopolitics. So Whitehorse, you probably go up here, and then I think that's where a lot of her sketches are. Let's see, I'll just move this over me. So I think a lot of her sketches are like Silver City would be, well, it's Ibex Valley. Where's Silver City? Let's find out. Indirect Silver City. Yukon Territory. God, I love that there's still a territory. Oh yeah, so Silver City. Maybe that's where they docked, actually. But yeah, so Silver City. Like she... Is this that cabin? Let's check it out. Sorry. Can we? Nope. All right. Google Maps has not been to Silver City. But, so like she went to Silver City. She went here. So she would have gone all these places. And then she kind of would have made her way back up on the highway at this point. And probably would have gone through a few of these. So potentially in the course of one road trip, we could find a bunch of these spots, everything from the Yukon River, probably not do too much of the Denali side, but even like finding a couple of those, it should be so neat. And then go back into Alaska and scoot all the way back up to Anchorage, just to give you a sense of scale. That's how big Alaska is. Absolutely gigantic. My gosh. But she has sketched she's sketched in let's see, where she sketched? She sketched in Greenland. She sketched in Iceland. Yeah, it's just so many of these spots. It's going to be a lot. Okay. All right, well, before I give up any more state secrets, I should probably stop some of that. But this is like a loose thing that has been set in motion, potentially, which is just, it feels really, 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 really good. it felt really scary last night. And then to Jen's credit, she's like all about going with the plan and sees the big picture. And to Eve's credit, she'd prefer to be in a car with a full family than like at a fancy thing. So I think it feels right. Have you ever like done one of those things where it's like, this feels good? Like it's going to be harder and it's going to be maybe less fancy, but it feels like the right thing to do. So we're loosely planning on this stuff. So it could be very cool. Okay, I'm going to get back to the chat, lickety split, and then I should probably jump here as well. Okay, let's see. Yeah, learning lots of Alaska geography here. And it is basically geoguessing, but then in real life, like when you actually get there, that's what's so cool. It's like, what can you actually find? What is the oldest sketch I have from her? Some of her original ones are, let me put this one back, some of her original ones are like these from, she used to work on like really big sketchbooks. So she's got some from Colorado, a lot of the circus ones. So they'd be like little sketches like this. This is some of her earlier landscapes. She'll with kind of felt tip markers. Oh, here's a nice owl, at least. But these are kind of 1970s, I think. And then this is, she like got really, there's like a whatever it was called, a circus came through Colorado, and she got really excited and made a bunch of sketches of circus animals. But she kind of started when she was like 40-ish or like 38, 30, but she's always artistic from what I understand, but started when she was like post kind of kids, like when the kids were a little bit older and she could actually kind of start a sketchbook process. And so she did a lot of these really cool like little sketches, and that's kind of where it started. And then she just went, which is so wild. Hello. Let's see, gotta jump here, but keep an eye out for, oh yes, thank you so much. And sorry about the discombobulation, but it's just so exciting to share. And you know what, like, this is what you're all getting. This is the very real live experience of like the process. It's scary, but it's messy, but it's fun, just like watercolors, you know? Okay, is this the spot? Oh, let's go check it out. Okay, Granola, you send over the spot. We're gonna look at this 1 second, and then that does seem very close. Let's see, try to put the email on the website. At checkout, the same place got an email from Jen yesterday, and it said not a valid email. That is a good Jen question. Jen, if you have any suggestions on that, I'm going to copy this and put it in the browser. Granola, tinyurl.com. This could literally take us anywhere. This is a true act of trust. Here we go. Let's see. Is this going to crash my computer? Ta-da! Oh, okay. Let's see. Is this a spot? Let's find out here. And it is... Let's see. There's Wrangle. Oh, no. Did I just mess that up? Yep. Let me try that again. Because I think you actually had like the actual spot. Was that it? Okay, let me just quickly... If I haven't mentioned it yet, today is all about learning new technology. Sort of. Okay, round 3. Which is supposed to be a charm. Okay, so this spot. So you're thinking this one right here. Let's see this, if I can do this here. And it would be, I want to see this. So it would be looking up. Is this the one you were thinking of? Or maybe you're just sending me to Wrangle. Oh no, let's see, there's the trees. I don't think that one's quite it. I don't think that one's quite it. This one? We'll find more of these later. There's a lot of sketches to find. We're gonna get really good at this soon. Okay, I missed what year you said roughly. The oldest sketch might be from, oh yeah, so I think the oldest sketch is like the books I think started around like 1970-ish, maybe 1968. And she was super artistic though. So, you know, there's stuff from 1942, you know, or so as well, but those are more just kind of like, she'd do all kinds of stuff, but she didn't really like start, kind of sketching. I think there's like a book I think that really inspired her to kind of start basically nature journaling, and that's when she started sketching, and then just really never stopped. She was prolific, very prolific. Let's see, it was too long for the chat. There have been plenty of, let's see. Oh yes, thank you, Jen. The corner looking up. Oh, okay. Granola, I'm gonna figure out how to do this slightly better, and then I think the plan is like on Thursdays to do more or less geoguessing with my grandma's sketchbook. So I'm gonna keep that link, and then I'll let you know if well, I think we're gonna do all that together. I think that'd be really fun. See if we can find some of those a little earlier. Okay, and let's see. Did she sketch a turtle? If she did, maybe she sketched a turtle. She did sketch the Galapagos. Yeah. Actually, legitimately, I think she sketched some like very old turtles and some parrots that are like potentially still around, which is crazy. One person asked me if she sketched any extinct species, which is like a horrible thing to even ponder, but she sketched a lot of animals, everything from like albatross to certain whales and things. And so far, from what I understand, she hasn't pulled a thylacine yet, so they're all still there, but kind of scary a little bit to think like, oh yeah, some of the stuff you might sketch might not be around, but it's also like, at least you got to sketch it. Like that's what matters is well, keeping them around, but like something disappearing is scary. Not knowing it's gone is way more scary, Going to the Galapagos, yeah, that's going to be a really cool one. She also went to Antarctica a lot. Here, I'll go grab some more sketches. She went to Antarctica like a lot, which is very exciting. It's going to be a little bit intimidating as far as like actually finding one day. Here we go. Okay. So which one is this? Is this Antarctica? Oh, that's another Alaska, actually. Yeah, like the skuas. New Island. Here's some in Antarctica. The penguins. Here's a leopard seal, humpback whale, right minke orca, humpback fin. Oh my gosh. Yeah, we think loaf cats are bread shaped. Just wait till you find some seals. Penguins are some of the things I'm most worried about. They have some pretty massive changes in their future. But yeah, icebergs. It'll be really cool to. She enjoyed the cold. Yeah, she enjoyed the cold, and they traveled. I mean, like she enjoyed the hot as well. This is here's, let's see. I think we got some Australia here. Oh yeah, there we go. Seems more Australia. Some hairy-nosed wombats sleeping, 3.5 feet tall. Koalas. Echidnas, kookaburras, cassowaries. Here's Sydney. Oh, Spring Canyon in Utah. I've been there. That's a cool spot. I love this too. This is something that I'm really excited. So they're a pencil company, and like all these shades she'd only bring a couple colors, but I'm excited. I'll be able to kind of match these with those, and I think it'll be so cool to see about making because you just kind of these quick sketches, just like get the idea down, which I love almost more than the finished painting, And yes, she has been it's crazy how much she's been. This might be Maine. Let me see. Is this Acadia? No, this is along the St. Lawrence. Speaking of the Ontario folks among us, more in Utah, Maui. Gosh, that'd be a shame to have to go to Maui. Man, it'd be terrible. Having to go to Hawaii, can you imagine? You have to eat like fresh fruit and stuff. Ugh. Hang out in the sun. Look for pretty birds. Oh, it'd be terrible. Just drawing on sticky notes. Yeah. It's gonna be some cool. It's like figuring out the formula right now, where it's like, right, how do we pull this off in like a large form? Oh yeah, so this is called Width. So I sketched a little bit of this yesterday. So they make pencils, but they make like a mechanical pencil, like with, as in go with some, let's see. There you go, with. You make mechanical pencils, but you just, yeah, you can just, like, these are all just leads, and you just grab a lead, and then all of a sudden your mechanical pencil is now fuchsia or blue or purple. But it basically means that I can carry an entire, like, pencil set with me in a pocket, which is very convenient because I don't know if I have the bandwidth to, like, carry an entire pencil set. Actually, I have my grandma's old pencil set, which is pretty cool. At some point, I'll have to go drag some of those out. But let's see, this is now dry enough. I think I'm gonna go scan these up. We already crossed them off, so that counts. But next week is going to be a little bit more exciting. I have the kippo with me. My wife is doing a really cool thing. She's at a big conference. She's doing big adult stuff. And so Kip and I are going to go carouse. So live streams might be a whole lot more messy. I think we'll probably start to stick to the same streaming schedule. I'll probably still try to get outside on Wednesday. But there's a real chance that it'll be less art and more adventure. And we might be doing some more finger painting on Tuesday and Thursday. We'll see. I will most likely be doing a bunch of these and hopefully getting those all wrapped up. But yeah, this has been super fun. I got to talk to Connor, was it last night, from Alveus, and and everything else he does. But he was asking if, like, do you need any more help and things like that? And I said, I so appreciate kind of getting started. And our plan is just to kind of keep on having fun and working out the kinks for 14 streams, 14 like weeks, because like thinking 14 Wednesdays, because it takes 2 weeks to build a habit, which is 14 days. And so the idea is, like, if you can do 2 weeks worth of anything, you kind of understand what it's about. So that's our plan, is to, like, kind of just figure this out for 2 weeks, do 14, so that's like 3 months, 14 Wednesdays, and then figure out how fancy and wild we want it to get. But I so appreciate being comfortable enough in this group where I can just, like, say what the scary plans are that we're loosely deciding this morning. And sorry, Jen. And you know, the idea of being able to potentially bring this whole crew on a road trip somewhere like Canada or all over the world, the Galapagos, Antarctica, who knows. So let's see. Let's see, for anyone who cares, Juneau is south. Oh no, okay, all right, just got called out here. I got called in. Juneau is sorry, Jen. Yes, sharing our secrets. Juneau is south of Haines along the main continent, north of Wrangell. It's an island, but it's not an island. There's no roads to it. Okay. Yep. There we go. Sorry, I got confused on the comments. Yes, Juneau. This is the capital. It's very cool. Juneau is gorgeous, and she actually has some sketches from Juneau. So at some point, I'll be at Juneau. If it's in the winter, I'll be using Amalga Gin. There's a great distillery there, probably for drinking too, but their gin keeps stuff unfrozen too, which is great. Okay, should we head anywhere in particular? If anybody has any suggestions, I'm not sure who is around on Twitch right now, but Twitch I can send people to. I'm trying to do both on YouTube as well, so there's a lot of people who love Twitch and a lot of people who love YouTube, and so I'm kind of bouncing between the two of them. And so the plan is in a few weeks to be able to figure out how to kind of be able to reach both of those groups while still seeing all the comments and stuff. So just trying to figure out that life. But from a Twitch perspective, we can go raid somebody if we'd like. Any suggestions? There's been some really fun artists out there. Otherwise, I will bid everybody adieu, and I'll see you all on Tuesday, where things might get a little bit messy because we might be having to do some finger painting, maybe some Play-Doh building. I'm not sure. You're signing on for the watercolor, but we'll show you what real creativity looks like. Let's see. Oh, Bia Easel and Alveus are live. Should we go head over to? Let's see. Well, we went to Bia Easel yesterday. We could go to Mizia. Oh wait, they're coming over here. Oh shoot, that is hilarious. Wow. Hey everybody. Okay, so we were literally just talking about raiding you. I wonder what would happen if two raids like go at each other at the same time, if they like crash into each other. Well shoot. Okay. Well, hey everybody. We were just about to raid you, but I can explain what we're doing here. Also, I'm just learning how to do the art tax. Is there anything fun and wild? Or if you can, would you be able to describe what you're up to in a haiku form? I'd love to be able to share that if you're up for it. But welcome everybody. My name is Max. I am a filmmaker and painter, but I'm working on a big series where I'm trying to paint every single landscape from every single state in the US. But then all together, if you kind of blur your eyes, do you see there's kind of a stripe? All together, they're going to make a giant American flag because, frankly, I feel like the American flag's kind of been co-opted for some like unsavory things. And so what I want is to be able to show like the US from a conservation perspective and all these amazing places that are worth protecting. We'll see. Could be a fool's errand, but it's fun to try. And then the other thing we were talking about is trying to track down some of my grandmother's sketches. And she was an amazing painter. This is her sketchbook from 19 something. And so she would go all over the world and make these little field sketches. And the plan is to go find them live and try to paint exactly where she was and make the same sketch in the same place with the same materials 30, 40, 50 years later, because they'll only ever line up in one spot, like here on let's say Christchurch, New Zealand. If I was able to get there, if you're 30 or 40 feet to the left, like all of a sudden this is now over here. And so like it means that it's also, yeah, I can then fill it in. If I can sit and stand in the same place where she was, I can make the same sketch with the same materials and actually fill in this like basically massive coloring book. And there's like 6,000 sketches. So that's the loose plan. So we'll see how that goes. Oh my gosh, I feel like I can't leave now. Okay, all right, we've rated. Shall we? I can make a quick sketch. A lot of people were asking about doing things on hot press paper. Should we make like a quick? I can make a quick animal if we'd like. It's like making you an art snack or something. You let me know. I can do a really quick one of these. Should we do penguins? We could do llamas. We could do alpacas. We could do bison. We could do quails. Any strong opinions? And let's see, gonna tell my grandma to get into painting. Hey, a lot of people don't like peak at painting until they're 80 or 90. And even then, like there's still a lot of room to go. So I feel like it's you know, it's not like gymnastics or something where you've got to be like really good at like age 7 or something. How about let's see, we do a cat, we do a bear, flying squirrel. Should we do a flying squirrel? That'd be kind of fun. The deer is cute. Ooh, a deer. Hold on, where'd you see the deer? Give me the elk. All right, I might have a deer. Wait a second. Sorry. There's a lot of ungulates in here. Let's see. Was there a deer? Let's see. There's one of these. Llama. Llama drama. Okay. Llama or Wolverine? Okay. Probably elk. There is no deer. Okay. Sorry. The phrases you hear today, there is no deer. How about a llama? Llamas are kind of fun. They're not like the most, you know, the wildest thing out there, but they're kind of fun. I'll open up a quick one of these. This is a coloring book. It's free until the end of January too. So I don't know if Jen is on still here, but there is there's some way to get it for free. I think it might be in our newsletter, but we have like a full coloring book, and it works with these too. So if you want, we made these. These are just like a little tin full of watercolor paper. But any watercolor paper will do. You can put these up against a, oh wait, flying squirrel, please. Okay, I'm seeing, llamas are cool too, but flying squirrels are great. We can do a flying squirrel. You can put this up against like a light board or something and trace it, and then that way there's 2 different traces if you want to do one. Or you can also freehand it. We're going to be doing that today, I think. So let's do some of this, and let me quickly just cover this up so I don't potentially ruin these things before I scan them, because I have this like, nasty habit of destroying artwork recently. Yesterday we did a live in the cold and it worked great until like I just like smeared it for no good reason. Oh, thanks, Jen. Perfect. Yeah, so there's the backyard animal coloring book. Let's see. Okay, here we go. So we're gonna do a lickety-split painting of a flying squirrel. Let's see, I got my pencil. Let me go grab a pen here. All right, so I'm just gonna quickly outline this just to kind of get my proportions right. I honestly probably wouldn't do this for a lot of other things, but flying squirrels, like they're just this really funny shape, and I feel like it's really easy to get them wrong. So I'm just gonna quickly get the loosest of outlines going here. And let's see, got some ears, I love how their little hands hold their little armpit flaps too. Fun fact, here in Alaska, we have flying squirrels. We have, I haven't seen them. I hear stories occasionally of people's cats eating them, but we have flying squirrels. They hang about, and it's just like, they're just so nocturnal and good at kind of hiding. But I guess we have normal squirrels too, but we also have a lot of eagles. So I think those are also pretty good at hiding, because the ones that don't become eagle food pretty fast. Okay, and then we got their little arms holding their little armpit flaps. Here we go, and then there's a little bit of there. So there we go. Okay, that's our loose shape of the flying squirrel. So then I'm going to quickly just pen it in. It doesn't need to be too fancy. I like to use pen sometimes just to give a little bit of some structure, kind of creating my own coloring book. Especially because this one, I think I'm going to make it as a kind of night scene, because they are nocturnal, and I'm going to add a bunch of probably indigo to the back just to have it nice and smooth. So here we go. Nice little foot. We're just scooting over, and I'm pulling this directly from the trace. I'm not. I did paint the original I sketched out the original, but I am not like that good at painting these not to use a trace. There we go. Okay, and then your eyeball, big old eyes, second big old eye, and then you have these little tiny noses. I also like doing the sketch right after the fact, because it gives me kind of a second chance. I'm going to actually add in their eyes. I'll often do this with indigo, which I'll do later, but sometimes I like to do it beforehand just to kind of get that shape of the squirrel. I mean, like I do this with all eyes, not just squirrel eyes. I paint more than squirrels, usually. So, okay, here's our squirrel, and then here is, let's see, we'll make this go down. Here is the kind of wing going out, little hand holding its own little parachute. Put one right here. And the nice thing about adding in potentially a little bit more in the way of some kind of background is that anything I don't like, I can kind of hide a little bit better and later. So here we go. Here is that flying squirrel. Bit of cross hatching. We'll get some feet in there. And lovely. Okay, now if I really want to be wild and clever, I'm just going to add a little bit of a border. And this is what I will fill it in with something a little darker. The border doesn't need to be fancy, just needs to exist. Just like that. Okay, lovely. How's everybody doing, by the way? I'm never quite like sure and good on the raid sides of things, so I don't know if I asked what everybody was watching earlier. I assume some fun and wild art things, but how's your Thursday going? How are things feeling in the world? Maybe not in the world. I've a vague sense of how things are feeling in the world. Hoping that you have some positive light in your world right now, and that you're able to find and share some of those nice little moments. Also, oh yes, thanks Sophie. I totally forgot that squirrels are fluorescent pink under UV light. That is a wild fact. Like, one, there's like only 2 flying mammals in the world, right? There's like bats and squirrels or something like that. I think there's probably a couple more, right? I might be wrong. And then potentially us. I don't know if we count really, but like there's only a couple flying mammals in the world. How have we not added more of those? I feel like that's like a real missing, that's like a real lapse on the mammal side of things. But then also, sure, let's have you like fluorescent pink. That is just bonkers. Okay, so we got our flying squirrel, and let's go see, what color are they? They're lots of colors. Flying squirrel. I'm just going to go double check, so it would be really embarrassing if there's any flying squirrels on the screen. And then they just happen to watch this stream. They're like, I'm not that color. My flying squirrel audience in particular is one I'm really scared about losing. Okay, let's see. All right, so we have flying squirrels, and Okay, that's what I thought. So they're kind of like, they're white-ish on the bellies and they're kind of dark on the top, which is a really common thing. It's called counter something something coloring. It's like why killer whales are, they're white on the bottom and black on the top, is so that if they're swimming above you, you look up and you can't see them. And if you're swimming above them, you look down and you can't see them. I don't know why that would be the same for the flying squirrel, because I don't think they're necessarily like dropping down on any predators, but I do like that they follow the same pattern. That makes me happy. All right, everybody ready? We're about to start sketching. So if you are sketching along, which no pressure, you can or you cannot, I think we're about to do this, and it should be a pretty quick one here. Let's see. Officially heading to sleep. Have a fab stream. Thank you so much for the raid, by the way. This was way fun, and it's so funny because we're literally about to raid you. So thank you so much. Next time we're gonna get you. Prepare yourself. And then on Tuesday we'll do some studio stuff, and Wednesday we're gonna go out into the cold. So if you want to come sketch with us in the cold, that's happening on Wednesday. All right, here we go. Flying squirrels, and good night. All right. Speaking of the night, these things not going to sleep because they are nocturnal. I'm going to add just, oh, wrong thing. There we go. I'm going to add probably just a little bit of some brown, and we're just going to add just a touch up here and just a little bit down here. And it's really just, we're going to kind of try to get a little bit of that shading in. So it's a little bit of some purple, maybe a little bit of some brown, whatever you're kind of feeling, maybe even a little bit of some indigo. But whatever it is, you're not going to need much of it, because in just a second, you're going to kind of smooth all of this out. Just kind of a little bit to the edge, and we're going to kind of smooth all of this out, just like this, with a little bit of water. There we go. And if we can, we're going to kind of show that little overlap, because they got the nice little arms here, and that's kind of what's providing that little lift. So we're going to kind of try to show their arms with that little bit of shadow. So once we have something like that, it's not much. And honestly, the less you can do, kind of the better. I might add just a little bit here just to kind of show more of that shadow, but really you're just kind of trying to do the bare minimum. There we go, there we go. Something like that. And then by adding a bit of water, it kind of fuzzies things out. With watercolor, if you let it be wet on wet, you get these soft edges, and that is in a lot of ways what fur is. This is just hundreds of little tiny things. It's why it looks soft, is because it's a million tiny little edges, but you can't paint those all in. So instead, you need a little soft edge. Okay, next I'm going to add just a tiny bit of these feet, which is just a touch of red with just kind of watery red. And I'm just going to add a bit in there. And that's going to kind of, it's transparent, so it'll mix with the white. And then we have little feet. Ta-da! So obviously still some more here to go, but like this is already looking kind of flying squirrely. Let's zoom right in here. Ooh, boy, that's a little too close. A little too much flying squirrel. I'll just zoom out a little bit. So already we can see a little bit nice flying squirrely action going on here. And let's see if I can make that a bit brighter for you. There we go. So we're going to kind of get a lot of these pieces in, and then the last thing we do is probably going to add the indigo in on the outside, because it's kind of our safety. If anything goes wrong, you can just kind of hide it with indigo. Their tails are a bit more brown, though. So their tails, we're going to add just a little bit in this section, and we're going to add a few over here. And I think sugar gliders, at least, which is a type of flying squirrel, those, I believe, are pets for a lot of people. Like, a lot of people just have, like, flying squirrels live in their own homes, which is, I mean, some people probably do unknowingly, but there's a lot of people who have these as, you know, just like an aerial hamster. And let's see, we'll go a little bit in there, and so they've got these nice floofy tails, kind of that brown will work its way in a little bit. You can see stuff is still wet, but that's okay. Like, it's okay that it kind of flows and moves a little bit. The top of its head, brown, because that kind of top coloring. And it's just important to know, because like we're not going to see its back, but its head is going to stick up. So here we go, a little bit of brown, the top of the head. Oops, sorry. I've got a couple different palettes going on here. I think they've all got the same paint in them though. And so I'm just adding a little bit on the top of the head, and it's totally fine if this stuff all starts to kind of mix and move There's like a couple things we don't want it to do that with, and none of those have happened yet. So there we go, a little bit in the top of the head, just like that. You could also add a bit of purple if you want. Something slightly cooler, slightly darker. Maybe just toward the, like right on the top like this, or maybe right up on the ears. But just something to give it just a little distinction. Doesn't have to be too much. There we go. And then for the top, we need to show right over the edge. So it's like it's top half. They're like a rodent flounder kind of mix. Their top half is just very different colored than their bottom half. So we're going to be adding just a few of those right there. Also, let's see, is this next Wednesday's giveaway? This might be next Wednesday's giveaway. So often we'll hide a sketch when I am out in the cold or on an adventure. And if somebody finds me, then they get the sketch. And if nobody finds me, then somebody on the Twitch gets something. Also, if nobody finds me, the person on the Twitch gets the sketch, the original. If somebody does find me, the person on Twitch gets a print, which is also still very good. And so this might be next week's sketch. We'll see. And then just reading the chat here. Let's see. Not great pets for your information. That's true. Yeah, it's I can imagine. I have a toddler, which is kind of the human equivalent of a flying squirrel. Just like not nearly as good at like landing on things, but equally as like unsuited to being in a closed, confined space. It's a lot. Okay, a little bit of some top going here. They're kind of gray-brown, so you can also just do brown and then layer it with a little bit of blue if you want. But their top half is darker, so this is kind of where their top half is curling over. Let's see. Oh, I see what you're doing. Telling people not to show up because that increases your odds on the giveaway. That is smart. But I tell you what, the more people that do show up, the more kind of like excuse I have to get fancier giveaways and more of them. So I think my plan is to keep those odds good. Just the more people show up, the more things that I'll need to go hide and give away. I'm hopefully going to be taking a trip somewhere warm soon, and I'm trying to get the binocular brand Knox to be able to give me a pair of binoculars to give away as well. So hopefully I can kind of not just give away art, but other fun stuff as well. Yeah, somebody found me yesterday. It was pretty wild. Okay, now you can add stuff. If you want, you can add a couple little, little bits of, color or something. But this, I mean, I really like how that looks right there. So I'm actually going to avoid doing too much extra if I can. I might add just a touch here, maybe just a touch there. But honestly, the less you can do, the better. The goal should be like one good brushstroke is worth 10 hesitant ones. So if you can, just be really confident. Sorry. If you can, just do the hardest thing that you can possibly do. And you're just going to add a couple over here and a couple in here. There we go. And now we've got some shading. And now we've got just a little bit of our squirrel. Oh, this is fun. I like this. This one turned out great. We've still got the nose, we've still got the ears, we've still got the eyes. Those are the things that are often the darkest. So you really want them to be like high contrast. But the next piece that we're going to do is going to be adding the sky, or the kind of the night sky here, which will happen in just a second. Okay, here we have, and yes, it was so sweet. So what happened yesterday, Maria, so last time I had a fox, and then I have these little frames that they go in, which is fun. So I had this. Nobody found me during the really cold sketch day. So there's one day I went out 2 Wednesdays ago. It was -13, and nobody, for some weird reason, nobody showed up and found me. I don't know why anybody wouldn't want to look for me when it was -13. But I brought the same fox out, and she was just like running down the path, and she like found me right away, which is funny. There's the grace though of Jackie, who was potentially going to come track me down with some kiddos, which as somebody who tries to move around with kiddos, I appreciate just how much harder that is to do. I was like, Jackie, should I hold on to this? And then Jackie was like, no, she deserves it. So that was very magnanimous of you. I hope you know. Yeah, we'll see. The idea of just kind of being able to give a little sketch away means a ton. And I think in the future, what I'd love to do is actually give away the sketch that I make in the place. I'm not quite sure how I do that in like a sketchbook, but maybe I'll just make an extra sketch, like go up onto a mountain, make a quick little sketch, and then give that away, because it's like, it means so much more when you know the place, which is why I love streaming. It's like, it kind of shows like you're there, you know, you actually get to kind of see it happen. And another reason why I'm actually willing to sell prints on streams is like, if somebody, it's almost like if somebody's just buying something because it's pretty, they weren't there, you know? It's like a concert t-shirt or something. You can't just buy a concert t-shirt if you didn't go. And I kind of feel like the streaming is like you're actually at the concert, you know? Okay, so I'm just gonna test for wetness. This messed me up last time, so I'm just being very ginger. Okay, that is mostly dry, but not fully dry. So we're almost there. Yeah, we'll give it a go. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to add some little bit of water right there. And I'm going to add a little bit of water on top. And this is going to kind of help stuff spread because I want it to move kind of all at once. And as this water soaks in, it'll just kind of saturate the paper, or in this case, the trail tile. And then as I add some paint in, it will kind of move and bloom and do all the good stuff that I want it to do. So we're going to add just a little bit of, oh, what color do you think? Indigo, maybe? Maybe purple? It's a brown thing, so an indigo or a purple would be a good amount of contrast. That could be a fine thing to do. We'll see. We'll see how that all shakes out. And then, yeah, so my grandmother, so somebody's asking about the sketches there. So she actually died pretty young. She was like, I think 75 when she died, which was about 10 years ago. And she sketched kind of right up until the very end. And what's really sad is she had a lot of, what's the term? She had dementia or Alzheimer's. So the memories, like the fresh memories, were just really hard to keep on top of, and it was really kind of scary and tough as like a young person when it's like somebody doesn't remember your name or who you are, because it's like when you're 7, you're like, well, of course I actually know who I am. But what's kind of so cool about these is it's almost like I'm getting to reconnect with her through these, because if I was to go exactly where she was, I would, like, it's this language, you know, like right here somewhere along the canal. That'd be an interesting one to find. I believe this is somewhere in like northern New York, or it might be in, oh yeah, Clayton. That must be New York. This could be along the St. Lawrence River. But like, it's not a photograph. A photograph, you capture literally everything. Every detail is captured regardless. But a painting or a sketch, you have to think about every single thing. Every single line is an intention. And so it's almost like a book versus a recording. Like a recording, you might capture all the words of something, but a book, you're intentionally writing what you want to be written. Every word matters. In this case, every line matters. And so when I get to be in these places and be in the same place with the same materials, it's like that's the missing piece. I can solve for why. Without it, it's like an equation where, you know, I don't have the x and the y. But then as soon as I have the landscape and I'm there, it's like I could see what she was thinking. And it's so cool. But it's also a lot of sketches. I mean, she sketched 6,000 sketches all over the world. And the plan is to start streaming the process of finding them, because I don't think I can make a film about all of it. But I also want to be able to share it and actually bring people along to these places. And frankly, I think I might need the help finding some of them. Where it's like, all right, anybody know where this is? It's somewhere in between like here and Vietnam. And because, you know, crowdsourcing. And then when we find those, the dream is to find and sketch every single spot she did, which probably will take me the rest of my life. But it's a fun way to do it, you know? All right, blind squirrel. Where were we? And a little bit more water here. A little bit of, I know I always do indigo. Let's do some, no, let's do moon glow. Let's do moon glow. There's a really, really fun one called moon glow. Here we go. This is moon glow. It's like a weird little mix of everything. It's like indigo and blue and brown, but it kind of breaks apart in some fun ways. So let me go find myself like a little tiny palette of this stuff. Let's see. Here we go. moon glow. So we're just gonna squeeze out. Squeeze out a little bit of this. Burp. That's plenty. I love how water, like that is more than enough. Which I think is hilarious. Like it is so, there's so much. Like this right here is enough for many sketchbooks of paintings. It's so amazing. Like I love the efficiency of watercolor. And I appreciate, thank you, Sugar Honey. I appreciate, yeah, it's continuing her legacy. It's also, it's all amazing how you can get to know somebody so far after the point. Like I feel like I know my grandmother better than I did when she was around. And there's all these questions I wish I could ask her, but also I feel like there's all these answers that are sort of hidden in these sketchbooks, and it's just takes a little longer to find them, you know? Makes me appreciate doing this stuff too. Taking a photo is important, but sitting down and making a sketch is something you can kind of pass on in a way too. Okay, nice and messy, a little bit of moon glow, very thick. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of work my way around this here squirrel. And yeah, so here's moon glow. It's kind of this nice purple. If there's any issues, like say I don't like how something looked, now is my chance to remove it with a nice thick coat of moon glow. And I'm going to kind of scoot it around because my hand is nice and stable right now, so it's kind of all about getting these little lines very stable. Scooting around slowly through all of them. And I'm working fast because I want to do all of this in one kind of fell swoop. Pun not intended, but like, do these things swoop? I guess they don't swoop, they kind of fall. Get a little bit of this kind of going down, and then of course you can add some water in too, and this is where the blooms and everything kind of come to life. Just scoot it around as you need to. Sometimes you want to paint backwards, sometimes upside down works. And you can see as this water comes in, these colors are breaking apart in a cool way. Normally with like a color, if it's blue and you add water, it becomes light blue. Moon glow is one of these fun ones where it's just like a lot of different colors mixed together into one. And so when you add water, it kind of separates into different layers. And so you get, it's almost like purples and pinks and blues and browns all together. If you want it to do what you want it to do, this is not the kind of paint for you. But if you're willing for kind of a fun surprise, it's great. I'm adding salt to my paintings backgrounds. Yeah, that's a fun way to do it too. This could be good. I had a bunch of salt in the studio and I kept on forgetting that like the container that I had my salt in had salt in it. So I just like routinely pour it over things when I thought it was just like an empty container. So I think I do not have any more salt in my studio, or I do, it's just like on the floor. Or just like literally embedded in everything. But salt added to wet paint like this makes an amazing texture. It's like kind of almost frosty. It's really beautiful. And if you get a chance, you should absolutely try it. It's really cool. Okay. Spinning around. Adding our little tiny painting of this here sugar glider. Actually, it's like a rectangle and a square thing, right? Like aren't all squares are rectangles, but all rectangles are not squares? Like all sugar gliders are flying squirrels, but I don't think all flying squirrels are sugar gliders, right? That's not just like a cute name for a flying squirrel. That's like an actual type of a flying squirrel, I think. Get a little bit over here. And you can always still add a couple little drops of water, especially when it kind of hit this stage right here. Moving around. And now we're up at this top little section here. Trying to keep everything relatively simple and on kind of the same page. Ooh, that's a big old thick bit of watercolor. Okay, a little bit over to the edge. And right there to the top. Beautiful. Kind of the most like cathartic and also nerve-wracking part, because if you mess this one up, you could full on like take out your squirrel's face, which you don't want to do, but also it's just, you're just like, you know, this is like as close to a coloring book as it gets. You're just kind of sticking within the edges. My problem is I'm not very good at sticking within the edges. Okay, a little bit here. If you want, you can also add, like, you can leave a little layer of white, like the thinnest little bit of white in between. Sometimes that's a cool look, like right here on the ears. It's kind of a cool look because it kind of gives them almost like a, you know, when the hair of like a dog or something like that is sort of backlit. But there we go. It also means that you can always go back in and just fill it in if you need to. Okay, we're almost there. A little bit to the edge. And then we're just gonna add a little bit of water, and as that dries, we're gonna get some really cool looking effects. Maybe, maybe not. But actually, you can kind of, there's already one happening right there. Okay. A little bit here. And up, and there we go. Okay. So here is, put water in there. Here is our sugar glider. No, here's our flying squirrel. Ka-chak, ka-chak, ka-ching, ka-bing. Voila. Bit of water just to do its thing. Have some fun. Go wild. Okay. Now we're still not done quite yet. So we're close. We're very, very, very close, but we're not done quite yet. Or actually, I can just bring it up. So here's what we're working with. You can kind of see these blooms, they move. They're going to kind of create these really interesting textures. It's still very wet. This is sometimes the perfect time to add water. So sometimes you want to wait till it's at a level like this, and that's when you add your water. But it's also, I'm sure there's a science to it, but I am no scientist when it comes to color. I am much more of a demolition artist. So there's our little tiny flying squirrel so far. What we're missing is the eyes, the nose, and the ears. So we're going to go add some of those right here. Boop. So far, what have been my favorite scenes and paintings I've done? Of my grandmother's, just in general. Because I feel like, in general, like some of my favorite sketches are kind of weird because they're all contextual. Like I love sometimes when I'm not trying to do something and it works out and it's like, oh my gosh, this is great. And it might just be like a medium, average, mediocre painting, but to me it's like a miracle. But let's see, I'll just make that a little brighter. But yeah, it's funny. It's like I love the randomness when it happens. But I do love these, like these animals are so fun. At some point I want to learn how to do faces too, but we'll figure those out. I've got time, hopefully. Okay. Either or. Yeah, and then my grandmother's, finding a few of these has been just like so cool. Like there's been some of hers in Alaska that have just been like, we made a couple films about it actually. I don't know if Jen has that link or if anybody's able to send it over, but there's like a little 15-minute film that we made about trying to find one of her sketches in Alaska that was just like, kind of changed the way I thought about sketching. But it would take me way more than 15 minutes to explain it, which is why we made a 15-minute film. All right, there's that. Let's go add some face. We have a reversible nose. And they have these little tiny pink noses, so we'll just add a little bit of red, and we'll just hope that that kind of works itself out. There we go. Rely on water to do its thing. Dry a little bit lighter. There we are. The ears, we just need a little bit of indigo or something like that. So let's just grab a touch of indigo and just add just something sort of like right there. It doesn't need to be something wild, but like just enough. Oh, thanks, Sophie. And then the eyes. So the eyes I filled in with pen because if you're painting something without the eyes filled in, if you wait till the last minute to the eyes, I feel like it's like you're painting on something lifeless. So I always like to make the eyes just a little bit of life, but the trick is you need, let me zoom in so you can really see. The trick is you need that to be that little tiny white spot needs to exist. Even in the dark, that little white spot, it's what like living things are. Without the little white spot, you're a shark and or dead, which is weird because the wet spot just means like your eyes are wet. And it's got a bit of reflection, but for some reason, It is like everything. And so you can always add it in with like a little bit of white, like a white bit of colored pencil, or you can kind of try to do this. And I'm just kind of making it a bit smaller. There we go. Lovely. Okay. I like that. I like that a lot. Cool. Well, there we go. One little flying squirrel. I think that we're good there. Ta-da! I'm going to quickly toss this under by the heater just to see if I can kind of get it a little bit more dry so you can see what that moon glow looks like when it's fully dry, which is kind of an interesting thing. Sometimes it's not. But I've actually got a zip here, and so if anybody has any suggestions on some fun people to raid before they raid us, I'm not sure who else is live right now, but this has been a way fun thing. And thanks for being so open and honest while I shared all of our state secrets from the Trailbound side. Now I'm going to have to go talk with Jen and Eve and be like, all right, everybody knows everything. But I love the idea of, especially once we figure out how to do a bit more of the streaming side more efficiently, being able to share those adventures of not only painting the place, but getting to the place is just so cool. Peel some tape for you all. Speaking of satisfying things, oh my gosh. Okay, there we go. Is Bia Easel still on? Does anybody know if they're still bopping? Or are they done as well? Or as I thought they were spelled yesterday, Beat Easel. You have a music streamer, not sure what I'm looking for. Oh, interesting. Does anyone want to go listen to some music? Are you feeling art? You can go art, music, animals. Just no gaming, please. Not that like I have anything against gaming, but like, I don't know. First-person shooters are like not my idea of a relaxing stream. If someone's playing Catan or something, I would watch that for days on a stream, because Catan is a great game where you just slowly learn to hate your friends because they wouldn't trade sheep with you. That is drama. I would watch that drama. That is good drama. Okay. They seem to still be on. Okay, be a easel. That'd be kind of fun. Who's the music streamer? Ooh, Root Circuit. Root Circuit. Yeah? I can't actually look any of these things up right now because I don't know how to actually make that work. But we could try Root Circuit. We haven't done that before. That could be kind of fun. Let's see. And also to the YouTube side of things, let's see. With stream, I can basically ship everybody out somewhere else, but I don't know how to do that. Oh wait, hold on. Wait, we got our dry squirrel. Okay, still a little bit wet, but the reveal. So you see? Oh, sorry. Here, there you go. But like these fun little blooms of these like little, like it's got some blue in it. Oh, it's very, very fun. Ta-da! There we go, one little squirrel. And I think this is going to be for somebody to find in Alaska, perhaps next week. Oh, it's so tiny. Oh, I love it. Okay, very, very, very fun. All right, everybody, let's go listen to some music. I think that'd be way fun. Okay, we're gonna go hang out with Toby Elliott, if you'd like. But if not, I'll see you all on Tuesday, and then Wednesday, a fun adventure. But mostly, thanks for keeping me company and keeping me thoroughly distracted. I'm gonna go try to catch up on all the work I didn't do now. So have a great weekend, and I look forward to sharing more secrets once I have them. If I'm allowed to have secrets anymore after this, Jen might be like, you're cut off. Okay, here we go. Let's see. So slash raid. Gosh, now I gotta remember this. Slash raid let's see. TOBYBYLS songwriter. Did that do the thing? Oh, it did. Alrighty. Very, very, very fun. Okay, and I did it. I know, the spelling, never my best. All right, have an amazing weekend, everybody. Okay, now I need to click this button, that button,